You woke up this morning. You made a decision about what to eat. You are watching this video right now. And none of that should have happened. Not because your life is unlikely in the ordinary sense, but because the specific combination of events required to produce you, this exact you, reading this exact sentence at this exact moment in history, is so astronomically improbable that the number required to express it does not fit in any space a human mind can actually imagine. And yet, here you are, existing, right now, in this specific century, on this specific day, when you could just as easily not exist at all, or exist in ancient Rome, or medieval China, or not for another 1,000 years. The question of why you exist right now is not a spiritual one. It is a mathematical one, and the answer is more unsettling than you are probably ready for. Let us start with the number. Geneticists and statisticians who study probability of specific human existence have attempted to calculate the odds of any particular person being born. Not just being born as themselves, with their specific genetic sequence to their specific parents at their specific moment in history. The estimate most commonly cited comes from Dr. Ali Benazir, who worked through the calculation in detail. The probability of you existing as you is approximately 1 in 10 to the power of 2,685,000. That is not a number that means anything to the human brain. So let me try to make it mean something. If you took the number of atoms in the observable universe and multiplied that number by itself, you would not reach it. The observable universe contains approximately 10 to the power of 80 atoms. Your probability of existing is so small that the universe itself is not large enough to contain the comparison. But this calculation only covers the biological improbability of your genetic sequence. It does not cover the historical improbability of the specific moment you landed in. Because you did not just arrive as a specific person. You arrived as a specific person in a specific century, out of the 300,000 years of human history that preceded you. If you had been born at a random point in human history, the overwhelming probability is that you would have existed in a world with no electricity, no antibiotics, no running water, no understanding of germ theory, where half of all children died before their 5th birthday, where a cut on your hand could kill you in a week, where the average human lifespan was roughly 35 years. You did not land there. You landed here, in the most medically advanced, materially comfortable, informationally rich moment in the entire history of your species. Why? The philosopher Derek Parfit spent much of his career thinking about what he called the non-identity problem. The idea that the specific identity of any person is so contingent on the exact circumstances of their conception that virtually any change in history would have produced a different person entirely. Not a worse version of you, not a better version of you. A completely different person who would never know they were not you. If your great-great-grandmother had taken a different route to the market on a Tuesday in 1887, she would have met someone different, or no one, and the chain of meetings and decisions and chance encounters that eventually produced your parents would never have happened, and you would not exist. Someone else would. And they would feel just as certain of their own existence as you feel of yours right now. This is where it gets genuinely strange, because when you trace the chain backward, it does not stop at your great-great-grandmother. It does not stop at the first human being. It does not stop at the first primate. The chain of contingent events required to produce you extends back to the formation of the solar system, to the specific supernova that produced a carbon in your body, to the specific conditions of the early universe that allowed matter to form at all. Every single link in that chain had to hold. Every single one, for 13.8 billion years, for you to be sitting here right now, reading this sentence. But here's the question that actually keeps philosophers up at night. Why now specifically? Not why you exist at all, why you exist in this century, in this decade, at this precise moment in human history. Because you could have been born in 1823, your body would have been biologically identical, your capacity for thought identical, your emotional range identical. but you would have lived an entirely different life in an entirely different world and died of things that a basic modern pharmacy could prevent in an afternoon. So why did the chain of events that produced you happen to deposit you here, in this specific window? There's a concept in physics called the anthropic principle. In its simplest form, it says this: the universe appears fine-tuned for the existence of observers because only a universe that produced observers would have observers asking why it appears fine-tuned. You can't observe a universe that made your existence impossible, because you would not be there to observe it. Applied to your personal existence, the same logic holds. You exist now because a chain of events produced someone who exists now. That person is you. The chain was not aimed at you. The chain was not designed to produce you. But the chain happened, and here you are, at the end of it. There is research from evolutionary biologist Stephen Jay Gould, who spent years thinking about the contingency of evolution. He proposed a famous thought experiment. Replay the tape of life, from the beginning. Start evolution over from single-celled organisms, with all the same starting conditions. What would you get? His answer was almost certainly not humans. The specific path that produced intelligence in the form of Homo sapiens involves so many chance extinctions and chance survivals, and chance mutations at chance moments that the probability of replaying the tape and getting the same result approaches zero. We are not the inevitable outcome of evolution. We are one specific result of one specific roll of a dice that has been rolling for 3.8 billion years. And you are one specific result of one specific roll that has been rolling for 300,000 years of human history, plus 13.8 billion years of cosmic history before that. The question of why you exist right now has an answer, but the answer is not comforting in the way most answers are comforting. The answer is that the chain held, every link, for 13.8 billion years, against odds that exceed the number of atoms in the observable universe, and it produced you, specifically you, existing right now, in this century, on this planet, reading this sentence. Most people go their entire lives without sitting with that for more than a moment, without letting the full weight of it actually land. You are the outcome of 13.8 billion years of contingent events, every single one of which had to happen exactly as it did for you to be here. The probability that you are reading this right now is essentially zero. And yet, the probability that you are reading this right now is exactly 1. Because you are. Because you are here. Because against all odds that the universe cannot contain, the chain held. And it produced you. What you do with that is the only question left.